Hi everyone, I'm Susan Mulvihill from Susan's in the Garden. You know, we have a cold, gloomy, drizzly day today, and those are perfect conditions for making a big pot of homemade vegetable soup. I've got all kinds of veggies from my garden that I'm going to use. Now this recipe that I do is perfectly seasoned because of a secret ingredient that goes in right at the end. I'm going to take you through all of the steps, so let's get started. For this recipe, you will need 1½ cups of chopped onion or leeks. I'm using leeks from my garden for this recipe. 4 cloves of garlic, 1 cup of chopped celery. I'm using frozen celery that was originally from our garden. 2 cups of chopped carrots, 1 to 1½ cups of chopped parsnips. The parsnips will add a bit of sweetness to the soup, which I know sounds odd, but I tried this a few years ago and I just loved the flavor they added to the soup. 1 cup of green beans. You'll notice these are beans that I froze after harvesting them this summer. 1 quart of stock. You can use vegetable stock or chicken stock. What's pictured is stock we made, but if you buy stock at the store, know that it is very salty, so be careful about seasoning your soup before tasting it, or if you can, buy low sodium stock. 2 14-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. Yes, I know, you are shocked that I would use canned tomatoes, but that's because we used all of our homegrown tomatoes for sauce, ketchup, and salsa, so there just aren't any tomatoes left over. 1 bunch of kale. This is from my hoop house where I'm growing greens through the winter months. If you don't like kale, spinach would be a perfect substitution. And here's the secret ingredient that we'll be adding in near the end of cooking: pesto. We make blocks of pesto during the summer that we store in the freezer. If you have fresh or frozen pesto, that's ideal, but you can also buy canned pesto if need be. You'll need about 1/2 cup of pesto. I wanted to add that if there are any vegetables I'm using that you either don't care for or don't have on hand, other possibilities include fresh corn kernels, chopped potatoes, and/or chopped zucchini. Okay, let's get this soup made. You'll need a large stock pot or kettle in a 6 to 8 quart size. Put the pot on high heat and add 1 to 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Toss in the leeks or onions and stir constantly until they look translucent. Stir in the celery. If yours is frozen, cook it for a few minutes until the moisture cooks out of them. If you're using fresh celery, cook until they're a bit translucent too. Stir in the carrots, then the parsnips, and finally the green beans. Mix well. Pour in your soup stock and the 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Stir well. Bring the contents to a boil, then turn the heat down to medium and cook for about 20 minutes until the carrots and parsnips are fork tender. Chop up your kale or spinach and add it to the pot. Let it cook about 10 minutes until it is nice and limp. At that point, add in your pesto and heat it through, especially if yours was frozen. Ladle the soup into bowls, and for a lovely finishing touch, finely grate some Romano cheese, which you will sprinkle on top. Are you amazed at how quickly it all went together? Enjoy.